In today's video, gents, we're talking about alpha male habits that are complete bull. The first toxic alpha male habit you need to drop: using women as your validation of success. Gents, this takes a lot of forms, and I'll share with you my story of falling into this trap. So I had a period in my life from my teens to my early 20s in which I thought the definition of an alpha male was one that slept with as many women as he could. I mean, it made sense biologically, right? The alpha male, he's got his pick of the litter. He can go out there and plant his seed wherever he wants. Gents, that's not reality. And I turned away from this lifestyle because I felt hollow inside. I was having these shallow, just straight physical relationships. And really what I wanted a partner. I wanted somebody that I could have shared experiences with. The next toxic alpha habit you need to jettison: always having to one-up others, especially your friends. And I'm not talking about healthy competition. I'm talking about the unhealthy, somebody actually is sharing a victory. I can't let them get this win. I've got to show that I'm better. And you know what I'm talking about? Maybe you just started working out. You just squatted 200 pounds. You're proud of yourself. And you tell some of your friends, and guess what? Your buddy, I squatted 500 in high school. You got a ways to go. I mean, what's this guy talking about? That's something that may or may not have happened 20 years ago. You're just talking about a victory this morning. Gents, don't be that guy. I know I have. Restrain yourself and celebrate other people's wins. Don't just always try to one-up them. The next toxic alpha habit: insulting, belittling, trying to make smaller those around you. So a lot of online alphas somehow think that pointing out the shortcomings, the mistakes of others, somehow raises up their status. Gents, it doesn't work that way. When you make fun of others, when you belittle other people, you don't make them smaller. You actually make yourself smaller. It shows your true character. Weak men are like crabs in a bucket. As soon as they see someone that's got an upper hand, someone that's starting to make their way out, they go over and they cut their legs out from under them and they try to crawl on top of them. Strong men, they find a way to get up and then they reach down and they grab others and lift them up with them. Now these next three, let's hit them together: cutting people off, talking over people, and bullying. So cutting people off, and you may not even know that you do this, but you let people start their conversation and then you cut them off. You jump right in and you take it over. Now, once or twice, maybe because you're excited, that makes sense. This can happen. But if you consistently do it because you feel that it's able to show that you are in power, you're the boss, you're the dominant one in the office or in the relationship, guys, that's a toxic alpha habit. And a lot of guys, they're not even aware they do this. So actually pay attention. Are you cutting people off? And then let's get over to talking over them. This isn't where you just cut them off. This is where you continue to talk and you push them down because you've got a stronger voice. Maybe it could even be because you're taller. You're literally physically in and you're talking over them, and they can't compete with you. Guys, understand that if you're talking over people, this is not a good habit and it's not a way to win a conversation. It just gets the other person to be defensive or to walk away. Now let's talk about bullying, aka the use of intimidation. And you can say that cutting off, that speaking over falls under this. But for me, bullying, intimidation, you actually know what you're doing. There's more intent here. And a lot of guys will go back, in nature we see it. If you want to look at, the alpha, he intimidates those around him. That's not entirely true. When we see that in chimps, what we find is that if they rely only on intimidation, they don't live very long because they've got other ones that are not happy with this. There needs to be a little bit of a balance here. And I'm not making a case for bullying or intimidation, but I am saying that you shouldn't really just look at nature, and we are much more complex than chimps in the way that we interact in our society. And guys, it is something that, if you're having to bully and intimidate, it's just not something I think is a tool that alpha males use, especially around their friends and their family. The next toxic alpha habit: never apologizing. A lot of guys view this as, I'm never going to look back. I'm going to keep going forward. That other person, they will get over it. Yeah, I'm going to probably, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? Here's the thing, is that actually having, just feeling for other people and realizing that these are human beings that you may be stepping on. And it goes down to a lot of guys, which takes us to the next point, are so cutthroat. They view this as war. This isn't war is war. This is life. This is business. And I think to equate those two things with, you got to be ruthless. You got to go in there. That really, I think, is very narrow-minded. The most successful people I have met in life, the true alphas I've ran into, they have empathy. They understand that we are human beings. They do apologize. They're not so cutthroat. And that takes me to the next point, which is they understand they can make mistakes. Guys, this is key to understand that we are all human and that you make as many mistakes, if not more, than a lot of people out there. And what's great about this is, of course, you can course correct, you can change. But if you don't think that you make mistakes and you never apologize, we're gonna go home one day and there's gonna be nobody there, because people do not want to be around a human being that's like that. The next toxic alpha trait, you hide your weaknesses from everybody. You're not gonna let anyone ever exploit you, because you've been exploited before. You know that these weaknesses, other people can get in there. So for good reason, you protect yourself. You don't let anyone get close, which is actually the next point. You don't ever form any deep relationships. You realize you're in this world, you're on your own. And for the person that believes these two things right here, I feel sorry for them. Because yes, you're going to get burned in life. You're going to have relationships not work out. You're going to have friends who you thought were your friends betray you. But by turning away from that, you're going to miss out on all the opportunities to be vulnerable and to have somebody actually come in and compliment you and make you stronger. Have friends that will stand up and fill in those holes, and all of a sudden becoming much more than you ever could alone. Gents, understand, when you've got good partners, you've got great people around you, it's not 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. It's 1 + 1 + 1 = 10, = 100. You're able to, in many ways, do things and grow in ways that you can't even imagine. And speaking of growth and self-development, gents, don't stop here. Go check out this video I've got for you right here. 10 self-destructive obsessions that men have and they need to get rid of. Guys, I enjoyed this video and I bet you're going to learn something new. And remember, if you take action, you too can improve your life.